Light is Britain's far-right conspiracy theory paper spreading hate and vicious lies. No, that's what the BBC say. The Light is the only national newspaper bringing you the real news and informed opinion on what's really going on today. You can subscribe, order copies, submit articles, and read back issues on our website, thelightpaper.co.uk, and see for yourself why the establishment are so worried about the uncensored truth getting out to people every month. The Light Paper. Not far right, just right so far. Thelightpaper.co.uk.
Scene script. Have you ever pondered the idea of financial independence and early retirement? The notion of not having to clock in at 9 or wrestle with the daily grind? Imagine a life where you're not shackled by financial obligations or a demanding job. It's not an impossible dream, but a reality for those who embrace the FIRE movement. That's financial independence, retire early. Consider the tale of Jane, a woman in her early 30s. Jane was an ordinary person living an ordinary life. She had a 9-to-5 job, a mortgage, car payments, and a lifestyle that was comfortable but hardly extravagant. And like most people, she dreamed of a life where she didn't have to worry about money. Jane decided to make a change. She began by cutting back on non-essential expenses, saving as much of her income as possible. She invested wisely, focusing on assets that generated passive income that didn't require her to trade time for money. Slowly but surely, Jane began to build her financial independence. She was still working, but she was no longer living paycheck to paycheck. She had a safety net, a cushion that gave her the freedom to make choices based on what she wanted, not what she needed. Fast forward 10 years, Jane, now in her early 40s, had achieved her goal. She was financially independent. She had enough passive income to cover her living expenses, and she no longer needed to work to survive. She was free to retire early, to spend her time as she pleased. Jane's story may seem extraordinary, but it's not unique. It's the story of anyone who has embraced the principles of the FIRE movement. It's a tale of discipline, of sacrifice, and of a relentless pursuit of financial independence. To summarize, the key points discussed today revolve around the idea of financial independence and early retirement. It requires discipline and sacrifice, cutting back on non-essential expenses and saving as much as possible. It involves investing wisely, focusing on assets that generate passive income. But most importantly, it requires a change in mindset. It's about seeing money not as a means to buy things, but as a tool to buy freedom. It's about understanding the true value of time and the freedom that comes with not having to trade it for money. This is the essence of the FIRE movement. It's not just about retiring early, it's about achieving financial independence, about gaining the freedom to live life on your own terms. Like Jane, you too can embrace the principles of the FIRE movement and embark on a journey towards financial independence and early retirement. After all, the only thing standing between you and your financial freedom is you.
Ever wondered how much you'd need to save to achieve financial independence? The answer lies within the mathematics of a concept known as FIRE, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The most essential number in your journey to financial independence is calculated by multiplying your annual spend by 25. Notice the emphasis on annual spend, not annual income. This calculation is based on the principle that you need £300 invested for every pound you wish to spend each month in passive income. Hence, your FIRE number is also your monthly spend times 300. This mathematical principle is founded on the 4% safe withdrawal rate, as defined by financial advisor William Bengen. He proposed this rate after analyzing the S&P 500, which typically produces an average of better than 10% growth per year when studied over a period of approximately 30 years. Bengen considered factors such as inflation and market volatility. After studying previous market activity, he concluded that a 4% rate of withdrawal per year would provide for a 30-year sustainable portfolio in the vast majority of cases. So to paint a clearer picture, if your monthly spend is £1,000, then your target for financial independence is 300 times 1,000, or £300,000. Alternatively, if your annual spend is £12,000, your financial independence target is 25 times 12,000, which also equates to £300,000. The first step in planning your financial independence, therefore, lies in understanding your monthly and yearly expenditure. Without this knowledge, it is impossible to take further strides towards your financial freedom. In summary, the mathematics of FIRE revolves around the principle of multiplying your annual spend by 25 or your monthly spend by 300 based on the 4% safe withdrawal rate. Knowing your monthly and annual spend is crucial in determining the amount you need to save to achieve financial independence. Armed with this knowledge, you can then plan your journey towards financial freedom. Remember, the journey to financial independence is not a sprint, but a marathon. Embrace the mathematics of FIRE and take the first step towards your financial independence today.
Good morning, guys. It is 8:41 on Tuesday the 11th of March 2025, and if we have a little zoom in at the market, you will see that it is taking a bit of a dive in comparison to where it was, and let's just track that back and see when it was last at that level. Was October last year. So I suppose you could say that the market has seen roughly 6 months of growth wiped off in the last couple of weeks. Let me just check. Yeah, 24th of February at that first larger red candlestick. So a couple of weeks, 3 weeks roughly, has seen roughly 6 months of growth wiped off. Not entirely sure, to be honest, what's behind that. And I suppose that's partly, partly it's going to be down to normal market volatility. Other things that might have an influence might be some of the policies announced in the States by Donald Trump's administration. In terms of things like tariffs on imports and that sort of thing. But I mean, there's there's any amount of things that could affect the market in this way. Either way, we are not too concerned. Looking at the figures just now for today, current market value £82.75, and the market is down 0.6% today, so a little over 0.5%. And in terms of the portfolio itself, we have 261 shares, currently worth 21,500. I think previously we had hit 23,000. I don't know if we can see that anywhere. Possibly not on this screen, but so we've lost about, I think, 1,500 roughly off the portfolio value, which sounds dramatic, but at the same time, remember, look at our return on investment. We are still up almost 18%, and currently we have been doing this for almost 3 years. We've got 2 years and 49 weeks completed, and the chances of you actually achieving a return even like that, even 18% almost, over the space of 3 years, you're not going to do that with a bank. And as I say that, I'm looking at this red dip. This is this is the market at a low point, and it's still really good. So read into it what you will. It could go further yet. Probably will go further, because the length of this red candlestick doesn't suggest to me that it's about to stop anytime soon. But we'll see. Either way, as price falls, it basically means that things are cheaper, and you can get more for your money whenever you're purchasing. So we'll see that in just a minute. First of all, I just want to draw your attention to Monzo.
I want a bank that makes money easy.
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
And you are?
We're a bank called Monzo.
Oh.
I want a bank that shows me what I spend instantly.
No problem, just give us a go. See?
Can you make splitting bills easy?
Super easy, check this out.
But it's a real faff to sign up.
It takes less than 10 minutes.
Race you.
You're on.
Can I talk to a real person 24/7?
Of course.
Even now?
Yep.
Even now?
Anytime.
Can you tell me when I'm running a little low on cash?
We certainly can.
Cool. Can I afford these?
You certainly can't, sorry. Can't afford that either.
That's a real shame.
Not really. Time's up, how'd you get on?
It's a draw. Can you help me save for my next holiday?
Oh, how about you set up a savings pot in the Monzo app called Barbados, baby?
Thanks for listening, Monzo.
We're all ears.
We can go now.
Rude. You make Monzo Monzo.
Okay, so as I've said many times before, I use Monzo personally to fund my account. I also use it for one of my kids who is under 16, and that allows me to keep a check on spending on her account, and to be able to set daily limits and essentially just have good oversight and if need be control over the funds that she has. So let's, as I said, we're going to have a look and see what we can buy. Let's hit the buy button. Just noticing actually we're down, let me come out of that, we're down 0.2% now, 0.66 for the day. Just before we do the purchase, actually, average purchase price currently sitting at £70.20. In the past, we've seen that go up, I think 11 or 11 and a bit pence. With the fall that there's been, I would think it'll probably not be as much as that. I'm going to make a prediction that it might go up 8p this time. So I'm going to expect the average purchase price to increase to £70.28. We'll see whether I'm right or wrong in a second. So as per normal, I normally put £120 worth of the portfolio value, sorry, not the portfolio value, the free funds in the practice account. This is the Trading 212 practice account. And as you can see, we're buying the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund, and I always put £120 per week in. Recently we've been buying roughly, I think it was about 1.3 shares, so this morning we're expecting to buy roughly 1.45. I send it through as a market order. We know that the market is open because we've seen the price changing, and that will execute in due course. Let's see how much we get. So we did in fact get 1.45 shares. We bought them at 82.75, and let's see. Okay, so I was a penny out on my prediction for the average purchase price. It's gone up 7p rather than 8p. So average purchase price now sitting at £70.27. And let's have a little look at the notifications. I haven't done that today so far. So that's the purchase that we have just put through. Then we have Tesla drops 15%, its steepest since 2020 after sales estimate cut. So that actually will be significant for the market because of the fact that Tesla is one of the bigger companies in the S&P 500. And I think its weighting is pretty heavy, if that makes sense to you. If it doesn't, Google weighting, and weighting as in WEIGHTING. Google that, weighting and exchange traded funds, and hopefully that will bring you up some sort of an explanation that will make sense better than what I can give you. Biggest stops before earnings: Oracle, Redwire, Asana, Kohl's, Dick's Sporting Goods. Don't really recognize any of those, maybe apart from Oracle. Apple down 5% as delays in Siri upgrades lead to lower iPhone shipment estimates. So that sounds a bit like a supply chain issue. That's a bit strange, to be honest. I think I'll look out for news on Apple with interest over the next few weeks. I'm not saying that they're not telling the truth there, but that strikes me as odd. Robinhood down 12%. Robinhood, of course, a online trading platform. So a competitor in a sense to Trading 212, although I get the impression that Robinhood is for perhaps more for the less mature investor, if that makes sense. I don't know. I for everything I've heard about Robinhood, even the name to me kind of suggests a bit of a lack of maturity. It strikes me as the sort of place that people go to buy cryptocurrency. And apologies if that's unfair, but that's just my gut feeling on it. I've never actually, I don't know if you can use it in the UK. I've certainly never seen it, and I've never really looked into it in any seriousness, I suppose because I'm happy with Trading 212. But here, do you know what? By all means, go ahead, do your own research, have a look into it, and if you do want to disagree with me, or indeed agree with me, why not express yourself in the comments, and I may well address that in weeks to come. So Robinhood down 12%, following $29.75 million FINRA settlement over AML and trading violations. Now, the trading violations actually would concern me more than anything else. If I were shopping about for a retail investment platform. I don't know what the nature of that is, but if I were considering changing, I would want to find out. Nvidia down 5% as recession fears and tariff concerns overshadow AI boom. Okay, Tesla, this was 18 hours ago. Let me see when the last Tesla one was. 12 hours. So 18 hours ago, Tesla was down 6% in the longest losing streak in 15 years amid backlash over Musk-Trump ties. So that's sort of suggesting that some people have sold their Tesla in frustration or anger about Elon Musk's involvement in I forget what it stands for, but basically the US Doge, Department of Government Expenditure, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I actually found it quite hilarious to hear that the US government was basically still had people on the payroll, some of them that were over 100 years old. Actually, I mean, from listening to that and what they were doing to effectively pare back government spending rather rapidly by cutting the money that is being sent into accounts, which obviously, if they are being accessed, are being accessed by people who are not the intended recipients. So, you know what? From everything I heard, I actually thought that Elon Musk appeared to have some really good, bright ideas, and really, at the end of the day, all well and good, perhaps pursuing people criminally for stealing from the government, but just as good, really, to, rather than actually spending more money chasing them, just cut them off, stop their pay. At the end of the day, this is ridiculous. The idea that there were people who had manifestly died, manifestly no longer worked for the government, and yet were still being paid decades after their death. It's extraordinary, quite frankly, but that appears to be what was happening. So, as I say, we have done our investment for today. We have had a look at the notifications. The market is on its way down, and that is a positive thing for people who are in the wealth building phase of their investment. You're going to be able to dollar cost average. As I say, I was able to buy 1.45 shares there. Previously it was down to about 1.3. Also, the average purchase price is not jumping by just as much, given the fact that the market has pulled back. And as I say, current return on investment still sitting at 17.7% after 2 years and 49 weeks. Guys, if you are interested in following the journey, why not join me again next week? You can do that probably more easily if you want to subscribe to the channel, and if you particularly enjoyed today's episode, why not give it a thumbs up? Thank you for watching, and I'll be back again next week with more. Have a great end to your Tuesday. Bye for now.